about your Minnesota Vikings. Let's talk about those Minnesota Vikings, and JJ McCarthy is now the future in Minnesota. But in 2025, the future starts fast and it hits harder. Kevin O'Connell, guys, right, is building around his rookie quarterback. I know he's a second-year quarterback, but it's his rookie season with a fresh new look and a fresh outlook on his roster. It still has elite playmakers like Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. But let's not sugarcoat this, guys. The schedule is brutal for the Minnesota Vikings. Between the overseas games, primetime pressures, and a gauntlet of late-season opponents, it's going to be a rocky season. So if you are a Vikings fan, I'm going to tell you this again. I was right about last season. I'm going to be right about this season as well. But early hope and international tests get the Minnesota Vikings started off right. But week number 1, they do travel to Chicago. Monday Night Football. JJ McCarthy makes his NFL debut, and it is a tough one. Soldier Field is rocking, Ben Johnson is clicking, and Caleb Williams 2.0 sets the tone early, and the defense capitalizes early, giving the Minnesota Vikings the first loss of the season. And then week number 2, they're back at home, taking on the Atlanta Falcons, and the home opener delivers. The Vikings bounce back with a strong all-around performance against the Atlanta Falcons. Not a very good team, and they're still finding their identity throughout the season. And then week number 3, Cincinnati Bengals come into town. Yes, Joe Burrow is dangerous. Yes, Jamar Chase is a dog. Yes, everybody else on the offense are dogs. But the Cincinnati Bengals defense is terrible, and the Vikings bring that injury and ride the crowd. JJ McCarthy gets his first signature win moment in the NFL, throwing 4 touchdowns versus the Cincinnati Bengals, giving them yet another win. But then, week number 4, overseas games start. Overseas games are always unpredictable, especially against a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers. But I feel this one is leading the Pittsburgh Steelers' way. TJ Watt and the Steelers defense rattles the rookie, air quotes there, and the Vikings fall, giving the second loss of the season. And they do play back-to-back international games, but this time it is in Germany. With the second international game, this time versus the Cleveland Browns, the Vikings get it done. The defense shows up, and JJ McCarthy plays a clean game heading into the bye week. So, it is an encouraging start for the Minnesota Vikings, right? They go 3-2. With 2 other wins at home and 1 overseas, JJ McCarthy looks like he belongs in the NFL, and the team is competing. But there's a very, very tough stretch ahead. Week 6 is a bye week after those 2 international games, and then week number 7, they're back at home playing the Philadelphia Eagles. You can call it a post-bye week spark, but the Vikings play one of their best games of the season, pulling off an upset over the Philadelphia Eagles, giving their 4th win of the season. But then week 8, they travel to LA to take on the Chargers. Jim Harbaugh has the LA Chargers rolling. It's a high-scoring shootout, but the Chargers take it late, giving them the Vikings a 3rd loss of the season. And in week number 9, they travel to Detroit. Detroit is tough at home. The Vikings get out-physicaled in the trenches. They get out-coached. They get outplayed. Back-to-back losses for the Minnesota Vikings. Week number 10, they are back at home. Lamar Jackson proves to be too much to handle. Minnesota Vikings defense struggles with the containment 3-game skid, dropping them to 4-5 on the season. So, guys, the Vikings came out of their bye with a huge win, but then they run into a wall. Sitting at 4-5, they are sliding. And the rookie quarterback, I know he's a second-year quarterback, growing pains are starting to show. And it just continues to get worse because week 11, they welcome the Chicago Bears to town. And the Chicago Bears sweep the Minnesota Vikings. Caleb Williams outshines JJ McCarthy yet again, and the home crowd leaves disappointed. Week number 12, they travel to Green Bay, Wisconsin, and Lambeau Field is a nightmare for JJ McCarthy in his first visit. Jordan Love controls the game. Give me the 7th loss for the Vikings. Week 13, this time they travel to Seattle. Finally, a breakthrough. Finally, the Vikings grab a much-needed road win in Seattle. The defense comes up big late, not carried by the offense, but by the defense. Week 14, they're back at home, playing the Washington Commanders. The Washington's pass rush creates chaos. The Vikings drop another home game and fall to 5-8 on the season. Guys, this stretch of the season exposes the Minnesota Vikings youth. They go 1-3 in this chunk and enter the final 4 weeks of the season at 5-8. Playoff hopes are slipping away fast. And come week 15, the playoff hopes are officially drowned when they go to Dallas and they lose to the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas is in playoff form. Minnesota Vikings struggle to keep up, and the skid continues, giving them another loss on the season. Then week 16, they travel to New York. Cold weather, West Coast game in December. The Giants capitalized on the Minnesota Vikings' mistakes, giving them the 10th loss of the season. But week 17, there's a bright point. The Vikings are here to play spoiler. They rise to the occasion at home, and they take down the mighty Detroit Lions in a statement game, giving them the 6th win of the season. But then week 18 at home, welcome the Green Bay Packers into town, and the season ends with another divisional loss. The Packers close out strong, and the Minnesota Vikings finish 6-11 on the season. Now the Vikings go 1-3 in their final stretch, finishing 6-11. It's a tough year, but this lays the foundation for what is next in the JJ McCarthy era. They could be good in a couple of seasons, but right now they're back to where they were, 6-11. Not very good. But guys, this is my way too early win-loss predictions for the Minnesota Vikings. It is a rebuilding year, but not a wasted one. JJ McCarthy shows flashes. The coaching staff saw what they work with and does it, and it's just growing pains, right? It's just growing pains at this point. But 6-11, guys, is it too low? Can JJ McCarthy lead a surprise playoff push yet again for the Minnesota Vikings? What are your guys' thoughts? Old Man River says, no, Buck. No, Buck. Minnesota is better than the Green Bay Packers. What? So what? Get out of here with that. Alpha Rob said the Minnesota Vikings go 10-7. 10-7. If they get 10 wins, they're definitely a playoff team. Like Alpha Rob. I think 10 wins in the NFC is the magic number. So that is tough. James says last place for the Vikings. Detroit taking the NFC North again this season. Vikings going to go down in London. Miles push a show on in London. I thought they played London first and then Germany. I may have got those mistakes. That's my mistake. Old Man River says 9-8 for the Vikings. Learning curve for JJ. It's almost like they should have listened to Buck and kept Sam Darnold for a franchise tag them, huh? But what do I know, right? What do I know? Mellow Mike says the Vikings will go 10-7. Jetta and Addison prop up the kid. But they need a healthy running back one to take pressure off of him. They don't have a number one. They have Josh Jacobs. Is Josh Jacobs not a number one guy? No, not Josh Jacobs. Aaron Jones, I'm sorry. Josh Jacobs plays for the Packers, right? They got Aaron Jones. Do you not think Aaron Jones is a number one guy? Here's Thor says, okay. You are going to be surprised with the Vikings. 10-12 wins this season. Listen, I think we were all shocked by the Vikings last season. We all did not expect them to they were 14 wins last season. Nobody expected that last season. Let's just be flat out honest. And anybody that says, I had the Vikings going to playoff team, whatever, shut up. No, you did not. Everybody that we talked to, everybody that we've seen, everybody that we had on the show saying that the Minnesota Vikings were rebuilding last season. And those same people came on the show and said, I knew they were going to be good. Shut up. No, you didn't. Nobody in their right mind knew the Minnesota Vikings were going to get 12, 13 wins or 14 wins last season. So 10-12, how would that be a surprise? Honestly, the 6 wins for me would be more of a surprise because they got 14 wins last season. So 10-12, you are expected to get that. You're expected to do the same thing as you did last season, if not better. The surprise is getting worse. Mellow Mike says, why the purple hat from Mr. K-State? My mom wasn't my prom date, but her feet are bigger than mine. No way I was risking that. That's tough. Rim McCoy says the Vikings go 8-9. Very good possibility. Sweeping the Bears. Aaron Jones, injury-prone Jones. Yes, Mellow Mike, you are not 100% wrong there, but yeah, he is very injury-prone. Old Man River says 3 years ago, Aaron Jones was the number one, not so much now. I don't know. I think he still scored another touchdown on the Dallas Cowboys. He was the man, the myth, the legend there. The man, the myth, legend there. But guys, I do have the Minnesota Vikings going 6-11 this particular season. Obviously, way too early. We're going to revisit this thing again in August. But let's talk about the final standings. Let's talk